So, welcome everyone to episode 2 of Multi-Dimensional Wellness. I am Maria Kramer here today. I'm so honored and delighted for your time today. How are you?
I am awesome. I am just amazing and so grateful and honored to be here. Thank you for asking me.
Yay! I'm so glad to hear that. So, Maria actually taught me to become a master instructor in integrated energy therapy back in 2018. And so I just thought it would be super fun to talk about IET because it has had such a profound change and impact in my life. I cannot even begin to tell you. I actually have full body chills talking about it because it's been so it's so amazing. Like the angels, they're so cute and so powerful and helpful. And yeah, so tell me, what is integrated energy therapy?
Well, it is a wonderful energy healing system that was brought through a beautiful soul called, his name is Stephen Thayer. He was living in New Jersey at the time and now he's up in upstate New York. And it is the way I look at it, it's an ascension protocol. It's many different modules built upon each other that support anyone who's interested to really take their power back and learn how to heal themselves on a physical level, emotional level, mental level, spiritual level, financial level, and all the different levels of being that we exist in. And so it is based on the energy we work with. Um, Integrated energy therapy really means integrating the energies. So what that means is as we connect with a high vibrational energy, and IET works with the violet ray, which is kind of interesting because we have now entered into the age of Aquarius, which is also the last 2,000 years of the seventh ray, or the last 2,000 years of a long cycle of 14,000 years. And this ray for 2,000 years, the violet ray, the crown, where we work with the crown center, it's all about transmutation. So it is fascinating how this was birthed at the time that we were moving into the most powerful, potent energies to work with is the violet flame, the violet ray, because it's all about transmuting the old that's no longer serving us into infinite possibilities that's going to align us with our original divine blueprint.
Mm.
And so I know this was a long mouthful, but
No, I love it. Please.
and it's built very systematically. The way it kind of was brought into Stephen Thayer's consciousness while he was working with clients was very step by step, very methodically. And so the first thing that came in was working with the angels, which was there's 9 angels that we work with in IET. And the main honcho, if you will, or ringleader is Angel Ariel. And they call themselves the healing angels of the healing angels of the energy field, which is that healing our energy field. So many of these angels have been known by in other ways, but it's individual angels that have come together to support this particular healing modality. Just like many of us may have 2 or 3 jobs or have done different jobs over our lifetime. And now we come together and we work in a group to do one job, and then we may come together with other people and do other things. And then through that, Angel Ariel, he started to channel and receive messages from Angel Ariel. And receiving the step-by-step instructions. So there are basically 4 main modules in one self-healing journey. So we have one level called the basic level, which is where students learn about the cellular memory map and how to, it focuses really on the physical body and the emotional body because they're so tied together, and how to really release stuck energy, both from this lifetime and that's been stuck in genetic lineages, our ancestors, our soul history, that's still stuck in this particular vehicle. And then flowing in the opposite positive. So in other words, this integrating energy is as we allow the energy to flow into either ourselves or a client, we're facilitating a release out and a flowing in of the perfect divine energy. So sort of like a restoration, a recalibration back into wholeness and harmony. So we're letting go of whatever's causing disturbances and disharmony, so that the body can come back and heal itself, and you can restore yourself back to the peace that is your natural state of being.
I love that. Thank
So
you.
that's the basic. Do you want me to go on, or?
Please, yeah, I love this. The depth of your answers are wonderful.
Yeah. And so the second level, the intermediate level, we work more in the energy field. We all have an aura around us. Many call it the astral layer, the vital layer, the etheric layer. And we work with it in different pieces because they all kind of interact, and one affects the other. And what most people don't realize is that the body is actually inside of who we are. And most people treat, oh, my soul is inside my body. Yeah, but it's also outside. So our field, we're actually walking around inside of what we are, sort of like you're the yolk inside the egg with the egg white around it and the shell around it. And so there's a lot more discordant energies that can affect your way of life and your how healthy you are, how positive you think. Are you struggling? Are you in pain? Or are you living, your bliss, so to speak, where everything is easy and effortless? And there's a lot more to address in our field than necessarily in our bodies. So the intermediate level really focus on clearing what's in the field and what's related to the past, any other incarnations you may have been in. And most of us are very old souls, so we carry a lot of stuff in our laundry bag, around with us. And so that all has to be transmuted. Because if we want to bring in that golden age, which is living peace, love, joy, and harmony, there cannot be an ounce of discordant energy or judgment or anger or fear left in our being. It doesn't exist at that point. So that's why this particular modality, its focus is on literally clearing out the cobwebs so we can restore ourselves to that, and that is true freedom. Then we have the advanced level, which is really focusing more on, now that we've been cleaning out the past, what do I want to call in? What do I want to work with? And it's all about manifestation processes and clearing out energetic processes to release and let go of our unconscious resistance to choosing peace, to choosing thriving. Many people say, well, I want to thrive, but I'm always in survival mode. And because we've been in survival mode for so long, there's all these little unconscious energies that we may not be aware of, or through ancestral lineages or whatever, that is interfering with us just, clicking a button and moving forward. So a lot of that is what we work with in the advanced class. And then the master instructor level, we build upon that.
Mm,
And it is now more surrendering to divine will and more manifestation processes and really living not just from our ego self, but how can I surrender to my divinity, my I am presence, the highest version of me, and allow that to live through me instead of just thinking I'm this human being walking around, but actually allowing ourselves to live, work side by side instead of the two separate parts of the tennis net, as I call it. So it's a very powerful day that really transforms, because it's that particular day where you're saying, okay, I am now choosing to be a vehicle for the divine to bless humanity, either in my own soul evolution or on a collective level. And so there's some really powerful days. Then we have other things that have evolved over that. I think we have about 55 or 60 processes that are part of the IET system. And some of them, probably, I don't know, 25 of them are above and beyond what we just talked about. So
mhm,
it's a really comprehensive, to me,
mhm,
step-by-step way of awakening to your gifts, because that's what the advanced level and the master instructor level is all about. It's about helping you awaken to your gifts and how you're here to serve. So if that is, you're an airline pilot, it's how can I be the best pilot and um, take that to another level in how I'm serving.
mm, mm,
Right? It doesn't have to be, an IET practitioner, or it could be you took the IET level as part of what you're doing, but maybe you are an opera singer. But now with all these things that you're learning, you can now have a greater effect on who you're serving,
mm.
as well as, discovering your own healing abilities that many of us do because our work is in the healing arts. And so that's kind of a quick synopsis of it. One of those unique things about IET I find is it's very specifically works with upgrading, actually turning on
Mhm,
our 12-strand DNA.
mhm,
The junk DNA, as the science call it, that's really where the gold is. And it's really has become a buzzword. It wasn't that known when I first started with IET 2 decades ago, but now DNA activations and working with your DNA, it's becoming almost like normal
mhm,
phrase. So we really, and that's one of the things that we work with in each of these modules, is really to help turn on
mhm,
and activate and amplify and enhance and bring them back online, because they were online many, many thousands of years ago, back in Atlantis and Lemuria, and they were turned off. And we're now living in a time where we're able to reactivate them and bring them back online. And we cannot live full, whole lives without them all, operating the way they're supposed to. So,
exactly.
yeah, so it's a really, it's a I'm passionate about it. It's changed my life, and I love this particular modality.
Oh, I do too. It's so special. Like, I didn't realize even until, we were in class and we were working on our reach, and like our reach is like way beyond like what we think is the best thing for us. And I like just was hearing children laughing and I was like, I'm supposed to work with children. And then when I did and it became part of my life, it just was so special and profound because it really helped me heal my inner child.
Yeah.
It helped me find the right doctors. It helped me find the right jobs. Like I healed an autoimmune disorder. I transformed my life. I healed many curses, and most people don't even realize that like all human evolution is held in the DNA. And so when you start clearing that out and you start clearing out the imprints in the body, that's when you can anchor in that soul mission,
Yes.
into the Earth Star, and you can make literal magic happen.
Yes.
And so even working with these angels it personally in my life, I have met the most profound soul cluster people that I'll always have a strong connection with. And I love that so much, like being able to like activate the DNA to a point to where you're like attracting your soul mission, you're attracting like the people who are here to help you with your soul evolution. And it just,
Right.
oh, it's so powerful.
Yeah.
So I'd love to know, like, when did IET come into your life?
I want to, before I answer that, there's
Yeah,
another thing I just thought of. The other
yeah,
thing
please.
that I find IET
Yeah.
is profoundly supportive in
Uh-huh.
is helping people reconnect to their spirituality. That
Yes.
is the missing link that many people feel disconnected. And through a process we call the heart link, it's the first thing that we do. And I teach it to everyone that comes into my sessions. And that's the missing link, because it's about connecting to, whether that's, we connect to the angels, but it could be you connect to your I am presence, to source. But that's the missing link. And that's like the first primary thing
Mm.
that we teach everyone. And that makes a profound um, shift in people. I've had a lot of people, not a lot, but I've had people who were atheists or agnostics and they didn't believe in anything. I said, well, what do you believe in that's bigger than you? And they said, the redwood tree in California. Great. Well, let's connect to that, because that's one of the most spiritual beings on the planet. Right?
Absolutely.
So, but the angels are here to help us in our evolution, to help us connect to our spiritual roots, so to speak. And that's one of the things I find is really powerful.
Mm,
So I just wanted to add that in.
that's beautiful. Thank you. Yes, heart linking is so amazing. And it's especially, like the introduction to Healing Angels, when I started heart link, I'm like, whoa, I really can connect with these
Yeah.
beautiful beings. Wow, it's like so transformative.
All right,
Um,
what was your question?
how did IET come into your life? Like, how did you find it? How did you stumble upon it, or how did it find you?
It found me.
Yeah.
It really found me. And so I was actually taking, I had already begun my journey in my self-healing process, and I had learned hypnosis and EFT and Reiki. And I was actually having a session at my Reiki master at her home. And she goes, I was at this workshop a day or two ago, and I'm compelled, it was about angels and energy, and I'm compelled to host this girl to teach a class. Are you going to be there? And I'm like, what's it about? She goes, oh, angels and healing. Are you going to be there? She said it 3 times. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll be there. And I guess a couple of weeks later, I sat in the basic class, and I knew in that moment my life was just, as soon as we learned the heart link, and we learned the second process in that class, working with a partner. I knew my life had just taken another turn. I had no idea where it was going, but I knew I didn't have a choice. Well, you always have a choice, but it was like, okay, I thought it was going to be X, it was going to be more in another area. And so that was in April of 2002. And I just started working practicing on myself. And then I started incorporating it into my hypnosis and my EFT clients, and kind of combining them in private sessions. And that's where I found, the HeartLink process, just teaching them that in sessions while we were doing the other work was very profound and healing for them. And then in December the same year, I took intermediate level. And in January, I took advanced of 2003, and then master's in March of 2003.
Mm.
And so it transformed my life so much that it was easy. It was almost like stepping back in an old shoe, like I had done it before. And so it felt very familiar to me. And I just had a lot of blessings that came just in my own healing journey, and just witnessing the shifts that were happening in clients was just beautiful. So it really found me.
Isn't it amazing when they're like they meet the love of their life, or they meet like their soul buddy, or like, it's like, oh, and they
And
didn't
it
even know
really,
it was possible.
yeah, and it really feels like it's a soul cluster that's come back together again to be in service with this. I feel that we've done this before back
Hmm.
in Atlantis and Lemuria.
Hmm.
And so this is an old energy, I feel. And many of us have worked together before. So it's beautiful to come together. And like one of my students said, it's the nicest people that you connect with in these classes. It's just,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
a beautiful familiarity. It's really sweet.
it's beautiful. Ah, so, how has IET been a powerful tool in your life? Like, what specifically was so powerful about it that just made you want to keep going, or, made you just the power element of it?
Um, I think it was really, I was really blessed. My beautiful teacher, Denise, after my classes, she said, sit down with your manual and give yourself sessions every day. That's how you're going to learn how to work this thing. And I'm like, okay. So that's really what I began doing. And as I kept doing self care,
Mhm.
I kept unraveling more and more. I was living in a lot of fear. I had a lot of pain. Uh, we all have histories and how we grow up in interesting childhoods that set the stage for what we're here to master. Um, so it was really as I was giving myself sessions, as it's really started to begin to, I felt lighter, I felt better. Um, I felt I was able to forgive more, to be more at peace with certain things in my life that I was struggling with, people I was struggling with. And so realizing, it's my perception of things, it's my wounds that are being um, triggered, so to speak. And so if I take care of me and I heal that in me, then the interaction between the different people and situations have the opportunity to change.
Mhm.
And that's what I saw started to happen.
Mhm.
I used to have a lot of fear with certain people. And as I was peeling all these layers off, it
Mhm.
was like, well, I'm not in control of that anyway, especially if I was driving in traffic and had to be a certain place at a certain time. And I know that the people I was meeting were like really, you know, on time kind of people. And um, it was like I got to a point where I'm not in control. Traffic's what it's going to be. I'll get there when it's perfect divine timing. And so that was a huge shift. I mean, when I realized how powerful IET was actually my husband and I at the time, we were actually preparing for a different type of workshop with a guy that was coming from Ireland. And the week before, both of us got a excruciating pain in our jaw. Now, it wasn't just one of us, it was both of us. So we knew
Mhm.
this wasn't physical. We also knew we had been in lifetimes together before. So we were very clear in this is a karmic um, situation that we're clearing up. But we were doing EFT. He was in the bedroom. I was on the couch for 3 days. None of us slept. I was doing EFT, IET, Reiki, and nothing was working for either one of us. So I actually called Stephen and I said, can you tune in? Because I can't see. Sometimes you're in the forest, you can't see the tree. And so he tuned in. He said, it's grief. Go pull out on your heart. So I went and I sat down, I heart link connected to my husband, and I sat and I just pulled out on my heart for 1 hour straight. Tears bawling my eyes out. The pain was excruciating. At the hour mark, the tears stopped, the pain stopped. It was all gone for both of us.
Mhm.
That's when I knew how powerful this was. And that's when I realized that all in pain and all emotion, or all physical pain, has a
Emotional
emotional and
charge.
mental and karmic component to it.
Wow.
And when you go in and access that root, then the pain ceases,
Yeah.
right? There was another time where I was developing Bell's palsy. It was
Mhm.
about 14 years ago. And it was always in May and June. It was like 2 years
Wow.
back to back. And I could barely function on the one side. I'm like, head start dragging, you know. So,
Wow.
I actually, in those instances, went and just shut everything down. And I went through our 7 steps to transformation. I just put the CDs on and I listened to them one on one, specifically with the intention of clearing out the root of what I was going through.
Wow.
And in 2.5 days, it was gone.
Wow.
And it came back a little bit the second year. I did it again. I haven't had it since.
Wow.
So, you know, I've seen massive transformation in clients, but I think when you're, which is wonderful and beautiful, and I'm so excited to be a part of, but when your belief and your knowing about something, for me, gets much stronger when I have a personal experience with it,
Mm.
right? Because then
Mm.
you know that you know that you know.
Mm. Yes. Oh my God.
Nobody can talk you out of it because you have the
Because
experience.
it's exactly, and no one can tell you what you know is true and real for you. Oh, it's so
And there's
amazing.
so many other ones, but you know, that's kind of the first two that really pops into my mind.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. So yeah, that kind of correlates with my next question. Like, what's been the most transformative aspect of working with IET? I mean,
It's really, I think, you know, we each, anyone who comes in contact with IET or learns IET, because of our history and what our wounds are and what we're here to clear, is individual for each one of us. Um, for me, I had a lot of abuse growing up, both physical, sexual, emotional, mental. But I always had injuries. And so I've had a lot of physical pain also from past life stuff in my body. And so that's also, you know, what you're here to heal, you call in people that mirror and match that. So a lot of my clients have walked similar journeys to me. And that changes, you know, over the last 2 decades I've been working with IET. But I work a lot. I don't do fluff sessions. Let's put it that way. I am not one of those where people come in, I just want to feel good. You
oh
know,
my gosh.
don't come to my session.
No, you might cry or laugh or scream or
Right.
go.
You know, I go deep, you know. So same thing with hypnosis. You know, I don't do the affirmation hypnosis. I do regression work. You know, let's go to the core and clean that little sucker out, you know.
Yeah.
So you know, if you don't cry or laugh or feel
Then we're
something
not
in
getting
my
in.
session, I'm
Yeah.
not really helping you really well. After which you're going to have a transformation. But but I also have no fear of going to really dark places with people.
Mhm.
And so I think we attract, because I had to go to really dark places
Mhm.
to find my
Absolutely.
light again, right?
Mhm.
And so when you can, and that's part of the journey, when you can start to love both the light and the dark, that's what shines light into the darkness so it can dissolve.
Mm.
And I know you and I have had, some interesting conversations over the years of really dealing with some interesting energies
Yeah.
that most people don't dive into.
Mm-mm. No.
And so it takes a very, um, you know, for us to get to a place where we can hold that space and love everything and hold that space for people to move through it. And we learn how to do it ourselves. So I think that's my most transformative sessions when that's my passion, is to help people that are going through, been to hell and want to come back,
Yeah.
so to speak. And as I know both of you and I, we've had some really profound journeys in this lifetime. So there is such a blessing and such a gift and such a joy when you're coming out of the other end of the tunnel, and then being able to extend the hand and help someone else
Mm.
light that path, that they can move through it, whatever that is that they're going through.
Mm-hmm. We
Right.
don't have to do it alone.
Yeah. So I would say, primarily, a lot of abuse and getting people to really feel they can shine their light and it's safe to be in this body.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't feel safe in this body. That was one of the things I had to struggle with. You had a teacher once said, because you don't even get in your ankles. You never like to be here. I said, no, I'd rather fly like an angel.
Oh, yeah.
So it's been a journey to, really feel, allow yourself to completely fill out your physical vehicle.
Mm, that's right.
Um, and then pain, one of the things I'm really good at to help people with is get to the core really fast. Like, I can see it, I can feel it. I ask questions that just cuts through the crap and get you right to what you need to release, let go of, and transform. Then it becomes the client's choice if they're ready for that or not, or they want to take it in smaller pieces.
Mm, mm, I love that.
I don't know if that helps answer
It
your
does.
question.
It's so amazing. And it's so true. I really love like reflecting on that response of just, I think like as angels, we come down into the earth and we're like, oh, shoot, we forget how dense it is. And we're like, oh, we have to clear all this stuff that we signed up for. And it's a gift to be able to do that for other people. So I
Yeah,
love
and one of the things I realized that we are, it's not just, and that's where IT is so profound. You can use it in so many different ways. One thing is to clear this body and the soul that's experiencing this time, but why there is so much to clear often is we have lived in many, many lifetimes.
Mhm,
That's all that has to be cleared. We have things we've taken bit in by osmosis through our ancestral line.
mhm.
We have the collective consciousness that
Yeah.
we are also picking up in our energy field all the time. Earthbound spirits that haven't gone to the light net will sometimes have fun with you. So, right? So, for other energies. So, it's a constant. I think one of the things people don't realize is that, you know, we take showers, we brush our teeth, we wash our dishes after we eat off of them most of the time. But how would it be if we let our dishes sit in the sink for a year and didn't clean them? If we don't do self-care, that's what happens to our energy field,
Mhm,
right? It gets really mucky.
mhm.
So, it's constantly chipping away at whatever it is that we need to clear. But it's just beautiful to see clients all of a sudden go, wow, I feel free. Yay.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Like after doing like a whole full IET session, it's like it's so amazing the shift that you see in yourself and other people. It's just so
Yeah.
extraordinary. And then after that, that's when you can really start incorporating, the higher levels, the advanced clearings, say we don't know why we're holding on to specific beliefs because of some past life stuff. I think that's what I love most about the IET is that it goes back in through the timelines and through, our past lives and our genetic coding, and just it's so expansive, and we don't have to go on some crazy long scavenger hunt to find out like where and why it happened. It just clears it.
Yeah.
So what angels do you like to use for specific things? You don't have to like go through every angel, but like just like a few examples of maybe some angels that you like to work with for specific things, because they all hold a specific energy signature.
Um, well, Angel Sarah,
Yeah.
she's my traffic angel.
Ah.
So when I drive, and I drive to a lot to teach classes all over the country, I like to drive because I like to feel the energy of the states that I'm driving through. But Angel Sarah, she is the one that removes obstacles.
Mm.
She has helped me change tires, believe it or not. So she's the one that helped me find parking spots. Whenever, oh, here's a good one. Uh, if I'm sitting in traffic, she actually came with a message once. There was a friend that was trying to come to my house and they were stuck in traffic years ago. And so I heard Angel Sarah go, laxatize the road, because it's like constipation when you're in a
Yeah.
traffic. So laxative, laxatize the road. So I told the people, we're going to laxatize the road for you. And wouldn't you know it, all of a sudden they were at my house.
Oh my gosh.
Everything just cleared up.
How
So when I'm in a traffic jam, I go laxatize the road in a way that's for everyone's highest good, so we can get to where we need to go
oh
easily,
my
effortlessly, safely. So she's really
gosh.
good at that. And she's the angel that really helps us stay in our power. So
Yes.
it's about, being a co-creator empoweredly. Um, Daniel, Angel Daniel, I have worked tirelessly, or he has worked tirelessly with me for 20 years. He is just, yeah, he's just the most beautiful, beautiful, beautiful support. And he's
Mm-hmm.
here to help us forgive.
Mm-hmm.
Probably why I worked with him so long,
Mm.
because the old years,
Yes.
I go, yeah, right, next.
Oh.
In all the lifetimes, I said, yeah, not this lifetime. What did I get to do this lifetime? So he carries the Jesus Christ energy. He's a master forgiver, and it's through forgiveness that he helps us come home to our true selves.
Mm.
And so he's just the most beautiful, powerful, gentle. It's his energy is like water. It's very powerful, but it's steady and it's consistent. Yeah. Have you experienced the same thing with him?
I really have, because in my life, to be 100% honest and vulnerable, I have been very angry and very resentful, and Angel Daniel has become my super homie probably over the last, 6, 7 years I've been working with IET.
Yeah.
He's the one that's helped me the most, I think, for sure.
Yeah. He is just beautiful. And he's not one that's known um, in many, he's in angiology or whatever you want to call it, but he's profound. Uh,
Mm.
the other one is Celestina,
Mm.
really works with the throat center, and really helping us speak our truth. And live our truth, live, really speak, live, express our true self without worrying about what other people think. So she's really, um, you can see her almost like a muse for inspiration for a lot of people. So she's one that I call on a lot if I feel I have throat issues or clients have throat issues. And it's fascinating how we've gone through the last couple of years. Because in 2020, she was really working overtime with all the masking because it was all about not being able to breathe properly and, you know, being seen and heard and yada, yada, yada. And so she was very present in the last several years, still is. And especially with people that have been stifled
Mm-hmm.
in, in their lifetimes,
Yeah.
or whatever they're working with.
Yeah.
I would say. I mean, I work with all of them, but they're really profound. Ariel is amazing.
Oh, I know. I love her.
She's
She's
this, when I really want to work more on what's the next phase of my life, or how can I really align um, more with, the next piece or my soul's purpose, mission, whatever. Um, she really is the energy that comes through very clearly. Um, and I see her as this sparkling, beautiful energy that's just beautiful.
mm.
We all perceive it in different ways
Mhm.
depending on how we need to receive it. And it's different every time, but she is just, she's massive.
Mm.
Like I feel her encompassing and enveloping both of us and like my entire where I'm sitting. So, and your room too. She's just like this. I'm here. Hey, she's like
Yes.
so.
I love to work with her when I'm working on like creative projects or want to feel really inspired or uh they're just so amazing.
Yeah, yeah. What
Um,
about you?
so I guess my next question would be like, what's a heart beam? I know this is an advanced level technique, but I think it's one of my favorites, and I just get so giddy talking about it. So I'd love to hear from you. Like,
Well, it's the heart beam is a in the advanced level. There's actually 4 different ways we build heart beams, but let's go back to the one that we build on, which is from the advanced level.
yeah.
And that's a beautiful crystalline structure that advanced practitioners can build, create, that is a permanent energy structure that blesses. So I see it. You ever remember Star Trek?
Uh-huh.
And beam me up, Scotty. They went into this round circle thing and they beam me up and they would go to another place. That's what it looks like to me.
Oh.
It's like this beam me up, Scotty. Or you could say it looked like, the I am presence poster,
Mhm.
right? That white with the violet ray inside. Its purpose is to help heal the earth and transmute all the pain and trauma our beautiful planet has gone through because of our ignorance, um, and uplift her and heal her. But it also facilitates a little alignment, a clearing for people when they walk through them. So they clear space, they heal space, and you can feel when you are close to one or in one, it feels different than when um, you are out. I actually have a story, a profound story to tell about it.
Love to hear
Um,
it.
I was in Denmark teaching IET. I was born in Denmark, so I was able to go back to my native country and bring IET back to Denmark, and it was just so beautiful, and I'm so grateful for having that opportunity. So where I taught is in Jelling, which is the heart center of Denmark. And it's also where the Jelling wounds are, which is goes back to, I don't know, 950 or 1000 AD. And so we were inspired, instead of doing the practicing the heart beam in the classroom, it was only, I don't know, 200 yards from where we were teaching. So we went outside and we built the heart beam on one of the graves. And in the old Viking times, it's these huge mounds that you go up on top of. So we went up, I think there was, I can't remember how many of us there were, but we built this, it was a good group, and we built this heart beam on top of the mound. And it was the king's mound. And he spoke to us while we were building it. And he said, "Thank you. We have been waiting for this."
Oh my gosh. So
and we were just like, "All right then." Welcome. And we just start bawling our eyes out. That's how we realized what a blessing this particular structure is. And then he said, "Can you please go on the other mound and build one for my wife's grave?" So then we went over and we built one on her mound. And so that's one of the things I do when I travel is I go to Indian mounds here. Wherever I find sacred sites, I build these structures. And I think I have 25 in my yard, and I must have 50 or 100 in my house, just because I practice them, when I teach classes. So it's funny because people come into my house and they go, "Your house is so peaceful and so quiet, and it just feels so good." I'm like, "Yeah, it's all the heart beams." So, but that was so beautiful to get confirmation, from that realm, and that it is a blessing to humanity and to Mother Earth, and it raises the vibration and the consciousness of all of us, which is really beautiful.
So extraordinary.
Yeah. What's your experience with them?
I just really like, building them in front of, like, right in doorways of, like, healing spaces that I've shared. And I hear from clients, like, as they walk in, they're just like, wow, like they can really feel the energy. And I just love that you can set them up all over the city. I actually have been considering setting one up. There's 2 streets over. It's just like a little dense pocket of energy that homeless people like to sit on. I'm just wondering, like, what kind of shift that's going to do to the grid when I set it up over there,
Right.
And I just love the idea of it. I love to be able to be a conduit on that level. It's just such an extraordinary thing. So
Yeah.
So we got about two more questions.
Okay.
Can you use IET on animals?
Oh yes, they love this one. They just any animal you can use it on. We do have a pets class that primarily focuses on cats, dogs, and horses. But and that's because the anatomical structure of each of those animals are just slightly different. The procedure is the same, it's just knowing where the anatomy is. And also why cats, dogs, and horses come into our lives. It's whatever you're attracted to, there's very specific reason. And what the purpose of how dogs, cats, and horses are here to serve you. And when people take the class, although they do it to work for their animals, they really have the deeper healing, I think, at some level with it. The dogs love it, and the cats love it, the horses, but I've done it on birds, I've done it on alligators. I didn't touch the alligator, I did a distance session. But you could do it on any animal. I had 2 dogs. They were with me for 17 years, and they just passed the last year and a half, 2 years. And they loved IET, and I am sure that because of all the work that I did on them is one of the reasons why they, lasted as long as they did.
Yeah.
Um, one of the things many people don't realize is animals are here to transmute a lot of the stuff that we're not conscious of, especially if we're not doing energy self-care
Mm-hmm.
ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so now there's a way to actually, as they vacuum us, we can vacuum it off of them and they don't have to hold on to it that long. So it's really a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And they love the energy. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like, ah, you know,
Right?
amazing.
It really is though. I love like literally both my cats are like my little ginger boys and they I've had them a long time and they look so young. Like even when I go through upgrades, they go through the upgrades. I clear them, they clear me. It's just amazing to be able to do that for them and they love it. They're just so thankful too. Like, thank you. And you can feel that they're lighter and happier and just
Yeah,
yeah.
it really is amazing. I taught a class. It was actually an online class. I taught a pets class a while ago, and she didn't do hands-on on her pet. The dog was in another part of the house, so we just
Mhm.
taught her how to do a distance session on the animal. And then we took a break. And when she came back, she said, "You're not going to believe it. The dog had arthritis and had a really hard time going up and down the stairs. He was just flying up and down the stairs. It's like the daughter came out and says, 'What did you do to the dog? He's like a whole nother animal.'"
Oh my god.
So it's just really amazing how it can support. Um, you can, yeah, and you can use it for any animal. So
Mm.
um, I just saw elephants come in right now, so that's kind of interesting.
Ooh, I
Maybe
wonder
I
what,
need to do some work on them.
yeah, I wonder what the tone of message is. It's
Well,
beautiful.
I don't know. I love elephants, so it's all good.
So what actually I have two more total. What's the steps to transformation? I know it's like a whole nother level of IET.
Mhm.
Um, just like a basic, I know there's a lot of steps to it.
Yeah, they are a series of processes that has um, evolved over the years. And so once the basic, intermediate, advanced, and master system and the healing angels were kind of in place systematically from like I think 1999 or 2000, Ariel would come out with a new process every year up until 2014. And so um, these are processes that um, can be done as standalone, and you don't have to have any prior IET experience with it, which is great. I have a lot of students that just take that and they don't go on to do anything else.
Mhm.
Um, but they are in two separate categories. So one is the steps to transformation, 1 through 7. And that's really all about me, healing the me, much like basic and intermediate level. It's really focusing inward. Um, Step 1 is healing, learning the heart link, but in a new way. So, in other words, how to feel the energy, open up your clairvoyant energy. So, you're clairsentient, you're clairaudient, you're clear vision, all your clairs. And so, it helps people really discover they are more clear than they think they are, which is really cool. So, that builds belief in them, then they can do that. And really connect with the angels. Step 2 is DNA activation, which is activating their DNA specifically, all 6 pairs or 12 strands to living their perfect expanded self, or whatever it is, what that perfect vision for them is in all areas of their life. Then you have step 3, which is karma clearing.
Mm.
which is a powerful process to really clear karmic patterns this
Mhm.
lifetime, other lifetimes out of your system. I've had a lot of people who actually, through that class or that process, quit addictions, whether
Mhm.
that was smoking or drinking or other food or different things, thought patterns, belief systems. Then you have forgiveness, which goes really deep. It's an energetic forgiveness. It's not just the words.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that's what makes this such a profound experience.
Mhm.
Then you have the empowered heart process, which is discovering and anchoring in your life's essential action in a verb. So, in other words, there's one word you can, okay, so let me rephrase this. Your purpose for being can be reduced down to one word. And once you know what that is, then you can tailor make everything in your life to fit that. And if it's not in alignment with that, then don't do it.
Mhm.
It's a distraction, right? So that was really profound for me. Hence, I got my website, Awaken Peace and Love. So, awaken is my essential action word. So, that is what I'm here to do, awaken people. Okay. For others, it could be teach, it could be delegate, it could be whatever it might be. Then we have a future progression where you go into the future lifetime where you have mastered that and bring it back into this. So it could be this lifetime, but it could be 200 lifetimes from now.
Mhm.
And we're able to bring that energy in now. You don't have to wait, which is profound.
So profound.
Then you have freedom process, which is learning how to cut cords with angel faith, not Angel Michael that most people do, although they are twin flames. So when you call one in, you really get the other one too. So, but we're focusing on faith, and it's a very specific and very different process than I've learned how to cut cords in other ways. Then you have the higher steps to transformation. That is 8 through 14, and 8 is working with the world angel grid. And so it's more related to the advanced and the masters, so it is now healing the we. It's the
Mhm.
collective
Mhm.
consciousness. It's not just about me anymore. It's knowing that I am part of the whole. And whatever I heal in me, I can heal, we heal in the collective. And so, working with the World Angel Grid, we're actually sending healing out with each of the angels. We created this grid that um, is here to reverse global warming, end hunger, um, um, balance economical, um, create economical harmony, financial harmony and balance, and also reverse um, global warming.
Wow.
And we can see it's already been working. We've been working with this since 2006.
Mhm.
And there are many places that should have been anyway. So we work with that. Then we have the joy process about living in joy. Once you're able to transcend into pure joy, that's your natural state of being. That's unity consciousness. That's fifth dimension. You're no longer in duality, third dimensional energy. Then you have the compassion process, learning to have compassion for yourself and your fellow human beings, right? And realizing I'm not separate from the other. Once we realize that, the way we love becomes very different. Um, it's almost like A Course in Miracles,
Mhm.
but energetically. That's kind of how I would see it. And then we have, after compassion, number 12 is the crystal key process, unity in action, where you actually go into your crystalline library and you get coded a crystal key to unlock your heart's code. So it's all at heart centered. That's all of IT. It's all about the basis in the heart and the upper chakras, right? Really activating them and bringing them back online. Then we have the Heart Star, which is the ascension process, which we actually just did yesterday in a gathering for the masters. So that is about creating a new energy center in your heart that is emerging of the earth and the soul star. And it's really when you're ready for your ascension that you will be ready for this process. And then be love, live love is the 14th step, where you literally have transcended and are living in that space of being love as much of the time as you choose.
Mm.
And what does that mean? That means there is no thought. Your monkey mind has completely relaxed, right?
Wow.
So it's a really, and the more of us are able to live from that space, we have an effect on the collective, right? So these are profound steps. They can be done in sequence as groups. And sometimes I have people that just say, oh, I just want to do forgiveness, or I just want to do compassion, and then you can pop in and out. But they are profound as a module. They can be done either in 2-hour segments, one each, or some people teach them 1 through 7 in one weekend. I love to teach all 14 steps over 4 days. People are walking out different than they came in. So, yeah, so they're just really beautiful. You will be different after you go through them, and you get an automatic activation for each one of them. So that means that you go home and you now have 14 new tools in your little spiritual toolkit that you can use anytime you need, which is fabulous.
Mm. So beautiful.
Yeah. Does that answer or help
It does. It's so yes. Absolutely, that's so perfect. Yeah, just one more. I mean, what is your favorite miracle that you've experienced and witnessed in this work?
Um, well, I think I already shared some of them.
Hmm.
Um,
And it could be even for a client, it doesn't even necessarily have to be for you or just any
okay.
old share. I just love the miracle energy. It's what
Well,
this brings.
I have two. Well, which one of the three? So that's interesting. So the first one, it all has to do with babies. That's interesting.
Aw.
Um, so one of the things I had a client, oh God, this goes back several years. She was pregnant and she had all these people saying, oh, you need this. When someone is pregnant, it's a lot of fear and people
Yeah.
tell their stories, and
Yeah.
the doctors always err on the, glasses half empty side instead of the
Yeah.
half full. And they did a test on her and they said, oh, you may have a child with whatever disease. And so we did a couple of sessions and we cleared out all that stuff and had her visualize the perfect healthy baby. Even
Oh,
the doctor said XYZ, the baby came out perfect.
oh my God.
So it's, so it's literally, but had she bought the story with our thoughts and emotions, we create reality, right? So we went in and we cleared any patterns that could have created that and
Wow.
created this cocoon around her. I had another baby that I worked on last year who was born in the hospital in Ohio. I did a distance session,
Oh.
and a dear friend of mine's grandson was being born, and he came out and he had swallowed some of the meconium. And
Oh.
so they put them on a special observation because it really affects the breathing, and
Mm.
it has a not a good effect on them. And
Yeah.
I start working on him immediately, the birthing process, clearing it out. He was declared healthy within 24 hours. They had never seen anything like it. And they were allowed to leave. Normally they hold them for a week.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that was a miracle to me. The other one is really funny, but it was so much fun. I want to do more of this. It was actually a master instructor who had, she scheduled, we did 5 sessions, and she was going to have her eggs removed to go into the freezer. And so there's a whole process you go through that. It's very hard on the body,
Yeah.
right? Also, the eggs have to be a certain size. They have to be viable to go into the freezer for future use. And there's all these things, and she's got to take shots and da, 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 da. So we booked 5 sessions. One was after, so 4 prior, in getting her ready. And we did visualizations, and I did a lot of the master instructor processes. We cleared out whatever. And they were able to pull 22 equal size perfect eggs.
Wow.
They had never seen anything like it. Normally it's 5, 6, 7 if they're lucky.
Wow.
And we we worked with it, and connected with the spirit of them all. We did a whole
Oh my
thing. It was so sweet.
God.
And talk to them as if they were babies already
Oh
here.
my
Anyway, it was the most profound. That was miraculous. We had so much fun doing it.
God.
And talk to the ovaries, the fallopian tubes, and yada yada yada. And then I did a session on her after her, and it's sort of that thing, you don't know when they're going in for surgery, so I kind of got to be flexible when we're with her. And then we did a session after the surgery, and she was good to go within just a few days. Normally the recuperation time is a month. So it just shows how powerful when we're working with energies that are, what is it? There's a story. You have to solve a problem at a different consciousness than it was created at.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing in that high frequency, and we hold a vision, then we can transform that which seems to be impossible to transform. So that was really miracle. So that was really a fun miracle to me.
I
Um,
love that.
then we actually did it again, I think a year later, and it was almost the same. The doctors
Oh.
were astounded.
That's so
So
cool.
that was really fun.
Oh my goodness. That is so cool.
Another miracle. Oh, there's been so many.
Yay.
But it's
Share
also
away.
it's also great, as I've helped a lot of people pass.
Yeah.
I get called in the last, I don't know, 36 hours,
Yeah.
72, 24 hours. And just holding their hand and running the energy, it helps them shift. Their breathing changes, and they're able to clear whatever they need to clear, whether they're conscious or not. And their passing is so much more calm and relaxed and peaceful. And then working with the family that surrounds it too, it creates a very sacred experience during a time that's normally challenging for many people.
Yeah. Wow. Well,
So that's kind of some of the miracles. That they just popped in my head. I was like, oh,
yeah. Oh.
yeah.
Well, I really deeply appreciate your time today. It was so special, and I'm so moved and so grateful for your time today. And, you know, thank you, angels, for being with us today as well. I love reconnecting with you. It's such a gift. You look amazing, and yes, thank you for sharing such profound wisdom on this beautiful, life-changing modality that has been so extraordinary in my life. I cannot even begin to tell you. So,
Yeah, it feels like in this particular, with the IET, it's like you have a support team. You're never alone. It's like, I think that's really the main thing or one thing that really stands out for me. That's just me and the world, me and God. I have the angelic support team.
mhm.
You connect with your soul council. So it's like, you got a brigade that is just working with you, and it makes the journey more fun,
Mhm.
uh, more palpable,
Yes.
gives you the it gives you the courage and the
Mhm.
to keep going,
Mhm. Absolutely.
you know, and so that you can dance in the light eventually.
Yeah. Wow. Thanks again for your time. I'm so grateful, and I'm so excited to keep tuning into your blessing bowl calls and all your beautiful magic. And yeah, reach out to either me or Maria if you have any questions about IET. She is a master in this work, and it's been such an honor to learn from her. So you enjoy the rest of your day, okay?
Too many blessings.
Many blessings.